Hey, Jeff.
Hey Lou, how are you this week? Memorial
Good.
Day weekend.
Memorial Day. Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, actually,
Memorial
yeah.
Day night.
Now, as soon as we start this, my dog starts barking. Go figure. Quiet, boy. Quiet in there. I
Well,
just, I've got to get my normal stuff up here, my baseball reference.
your norm.
Yeah, you see what I did there? And then got to get up the beer league and got to get up my MLB trade rumors, which is the best site in the history of baseball, besides baseball reference anyway.
I like
But you need
Fangraphs and RetroSheet.org a lot too.
MLB trade rumors, man, they are on top of everything. Even if a flea farts in the infield, they're reporting about it. So, I mean, a lot of players you don't even know. They're like, oh, this guy's going down, this guy's hurt, blah blah blah. He's on a 30-day, and it just gives you the whole rundown. And then when the trade season comes around, boy, I tell you what, it's some fun reading.
Yeah. Oh, in the winter it's fun too. Just you're dying for any sort of information to be interesting for that day. And
But they also have pro football rumors and basketball rumors and hockey rumors. So it's like in the wintertime, I'm looking at the football page of it, and not so much the baseball page. Uh-oh.
it's not as cold down here as it's been. So let me take off the hoodie.
Yeah. We need rain over here. I tell you what, it hasn't rained in like a week, and then it's not supposed to rain for another week.
Well, do you want to bring in our special guest before I go over the standings?
Why don't we?
All right. Was he in the waiting room?
Yeah, it's taking a little while because I don't know the signal. It takes a while to get to
There he
Arizona.
is, Norman.
Norman Lund. And
That's not Norm. That was your doggy.
that's the norm.
Hey, he's got the headset on. He's like a pro.
Hey, somebody should tell you you're not a telemarketer anymore. You're not fixing iPads and iPods over the phone.
Yeah, no, I don't have a microphone on my laptop.
Ooh, we must be going back to 2010.
Yeah, I've had this for quite a while.
So you're in Arizona. It's only like 6 a.m. there, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you for getting up so early to speak with us.
Well, what's up,
What you
Norm?
drinking there, Norm?
Got me a Sierra Nevada Summerfest.
Ooh.
Blue can. I thought you were Bud Lighting out.
I heard they're giving a $15 rebate on any purchase of Budweiser over 15 cans. So you can get an 18-pack for like $3.
Yeah, that whole
very good beer anyway.
Stupid.
It's not very good beer anyway.
Yeah, I still, even for $3, okay. I wouldn't want to buy.
I could live the rest of my life without having a Bud Light.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I sell this shit, so stop it.
Anyways, well, let me bring up the standings, and we'll just take a gander at it together. I emailed it out today, so you guys see. I got to share the screen first. Believe it or not, I'm getting better at this, but
Paging Dr. Satchel is having a stretch like you did to start the season right now.
Yeah, he took over.
Yeah, he did.
6-0 with 507. And Mr. Norm, bad week. Just when you were
a couple pitchers got extra hammered.
Just when you were looking like you were building something. You were 9-3 for 2 weeks, and then boom.
Well, I thank you, Norm, because if you didn't have that shitty of a week, I'd be in last place. For sure.
Well, this is what's good about this year is that, like, believe it or not, this is an extremely tight grouping for what we've seen in Beer League Fest. We've had some teams that have been really way out, and then we've had teams like, run away with things. And maybe not this early, but I think it's good for the league when you see lollygaggers in first place, like the middle May. You're like, yeah, well, that's not gonna stay. So a little more worrisome when it's Satch or Knockers or something like that, you know.
When you see the Bake McBrides get a 5-1 this week and go from last place to seventh,
Eighth. Oh yeah.
seventh. Well, yeah, they are eighth, but you know they moved up 4 spots or 3.
Yeah, no, it's great, you know, and McBride's weren't at the auction, so we all know their handicap this year. And as I've pointed out before, they're the team that's been in the league the longest. That's never finished in last, and they're gonna give it their all. It's gonna be a tight. I think it's gonna be a tight race in the bottom too. You know, so but that's good for them. I mean, you know, it's pretty good. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys. I don't know if you guys have finished in last. You came in after Doug. Both of you guys, I think so.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think I finished in last. I think I finished in last maybe my first year. Just
I don't think you
learning.
did, but I've got the history spreadsheet. We can look at that too. But so McBride's was definitely something I want to point out, and Bizzotti moved up to fourth. They were tied for fourth, you know, virtual tie with Knockers, and now they're actually in fourth. So they were in last a month and 5 days ago. So 5 weeks ago, I guess it was, and now they're in fourth. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty good job there. And then Paul was on last week, and he said that he doesn't get Players of the Week too often, but he did get one. He had Jose Barrios. You can see Sombreros had Michael Conforto and Luis Castillo. And then Satch had the new call up from the Reds, Matt McLean, who I really didn't know. I knew Ellie De La Cruz, right? That's the guy.
Yeah.
I think I said De La Rosa. I've made so many mistakes on these rookie names. Like Marcelo Meyer is the guy on the Red Sox. He's a shortstop. I should know that because he's on my NA squad. And Marco Luciano is the guy that I was wondering if they had called up because Crawford was hurt, but I guess they didn't. But he's the Giants guy. You know, and Ronnie Mauricio was the shortstop I couldn't think of in the Mets system, and I'm a Mets fan. But anyways, so there's Satch had Matt McLean. He also had Alex Lang, who's the closer for the Tigers, that was briefly on the Lollygagger squad, and I sized things up, and it's like, I'm going to drop Lang. But maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. I don't know. And Spear had Diaz, Colorado at catcher of the week. I guess that's all these guys. And so you see Buddha Kings, Sombreros.
Well, I had Ryan McMahon there too, and this guy put up another 12 points today, so he's on fire for some
I'm sorry
reason.
about that, Jeff. I forgot to mention your guy. It wasn't on
Oh, I
purpose.
thought you did it on purpose. That's cool.
Ryan McMahon, that's right. He's qualifies at middle and corner. You know, he could be so I put him in corner because McLean was already at the middle. So Buddha Kings are the same. Lucky Laggards the same. Bizzotti's, 6.6 wins, and we talked about that. Some of it was by design, but some of this is they're getting a little lucky too. So, yeah. And the games played overage and underage is the same guys, Spear and McBride's, and both you guys, Cows and Daddies, are the Paragon of Position Player Providence, which is the hitter version of Paragon of Pitching Pace Prudence. So you guys are at exactly 0. And IP overage is Knockers 111. They are.
Jeez.
I cannot believe anybody's over 100 innings so far this year. That's like real early.
They're fearless, but I guess they're going to load up on middle relievers and maybe some other hitting bench spots. I'm sure they have I'm sure it's by design. It's not going to sneak up on them. And Let's Play and the Cows are within a third of an inning. So Let's Play had the largest underage, just 3 innings under and 3 1/3. And Cows are the Paragon of Pitching Pace Prudence with -3 innings. That's the closest to 0 that we have. So Weekend Warriors were Let's Play and Sombreros were +2, and the Cows lost 2. You guys were the straw spinners of the weekend. And all this stuff is the same characters. Hack Wilson's leading and Babbitt for hitters. Daddy's trailing still, but you did move up from 280 to 281. So
Woo!
that's a step in the right direction because
We're on our way.
Jeff's BABIP hitter numbers the past few weeks have been 289, 288, 280, and now 281. So maybe he's going to come back to the mean a little bit now. It's weird. It's weird to keep going away from the mean as the season goes on because these are cumulative stats. And daddies are also the unluckiest in as far as ERA minus FIP, 0.38 runs. And Bizzatti is the luckiest ERA minus FIP, if you want to say it like that. They're minus 0.35.
So what you're saying there is I've got lucky pitching or shitty pitching and shitty hitting.
It's not. It's that you probably deserved a few more hits from your hitters, and you probably deserve a run or two less with your staff. A few runs anyway.
Yeah, so it's more like the universe is against you.
Yeah, well, that's part of the course.
But that's good if you're where you are now. Well, you're at 10th, but
that goes all season long.
This says that you will climb from 10. Predicted top 4, Satch is on top now. The model is pretty wimpy. The only interesting thing is I think Let's Play's like in 6th right now, and they're predicted for 3rd on this. Spear 4th. I think Spear's in 3rd right now. Bizzotti's in 4th. Knockers are in 5th, and Plays in 6th. So that's kind of ballsy, I guess, that they have Let's Play in 3rd. It makes me feel good because why do it if it's just a mirror of the current standings? That would be pointless, right? But we can look at the predicted standings I was talking about. So you can see like this is what the teams should do according to this the remainder of the year. So Satch is going to lead just from this point forward, and the team Bizzatti it doesn't like going forward. It has them as the lowest win, the worst win-loss record. But you can see these are pretty tight grouping. It's only using a 41% correlation. So what's happened is 41% predictive of what's going to happen. 100% would be top. So there's still a lot of room. These can change drastically. You go on a big run, and then the model will change too. So, but you can see the final win total predicted is 97, which is less than we've experienced in most years. And some of that can probably be attributed to the fact that the weekly win-loss is broken out more. Well, there's one less 5-1 and one less 1-5 each week, and there's one more 3-3. So we shouldn't break any win-loss records this year, bad or good. We'll see what happens, but it should be a more middling type year, which is what you want. I mean, you want more teams closer together, And so Norm, this is the part of the podcast where I just talk a lot, and then you don't hear me, too much after that, a little bit. But I just when we have somebody on, I like to focus on their team. So let's take a look at the Cows. Cows are not having a good year, and let's take a look. You're about 9th best hitters according to this metric, this runs per game, it's my bastardized version of like linear weights, because the runs created formula, the Bill James one, I still can't quite get. It's genius, but I don't feel as comfortable with it because I don't quite get it. You know what the runs created formula is basically? It's 3 parts, and of course it gets more. There's more complicated versions, but it's 3 parts. The numerator is times on base, so like your on base percentage, guys, and then multiplied by total bases, so your ability to move the runners along, and then it's divided by just your plate appearances, whatever. That's the basic form of it, and then they add in stolen bases and all these other things. But anyways, so my favorite one to use is this one, and your hitters are about 9. So that's basically your big problem. Your pitching is obviously above average. You're 4th in ERA. You're 2nd in FIP, so you might even you could probably be a little higher than 4th in pitching. And looks like your team is 10th in save percentage, so you're only 68%. So your bullpen guys have been blowing some saves, higher than the average at a higher clip than the average team, right? Our league is 77% save percentage, and you're at 68%. So the worst team is the Knockers. Knockers save percentage is 45%. Is that right? That's crazy. Do you think that's right? See, I'm not even 100% sure these are right. Let me take a look.
Well, doesn't he have a lot of relievers that qualify as starter?
Yeah, that would all be in.
So you're going to get a lot more save opportunity or blown saves because you get technically a save opportunity.
This is crazy if this is right,
closing.
though. It says that he has 5 saves in 11 opportunities. So, I mean, that is a pretty limited amount of save opportunities, and you're right. You were right in your assumption because he's got 18 holds, which is tied for the most in the league with Satch. So, but yeah, I mean, even if you don't have, he's still going to have 3 closers in, that aren't middle relievers. So that's just, that won't continue. That's a terrible percentage so far. So I think that's enough of the.
Wait, who's got 5 saves?
Capital Knockers have. Let me see if it's Capital Knockers. Yeah, Capital Knockers have 5 saves and 11 opportunities. They have 18 holds though, so Norm is right. I mean,
the funny thing is, I was talking to Chris today, and he was mentioning about that how bad his relievers have been, and he can't fucking just nothing happens for him. Any reliever he picks up is just shitty. And he's like, yeah, I was thinking about picking up this one guy. I can't remember who he said it was, but he goes, and that guy went out and gave up a bunch of runs and went negative. He goes, even my thoughts are making people suck.
Your thoughts are going negative. Well, you can look at save opportunities. It's crazy. He has 11 save opportunities. I have the most, and I have 43. So I mean, that's a big ass difference.
Who got the? Well, he did trade away Hader.
Yep. I mean, I didn't know that offhand, but I shouldn't have said yep. I should have said, oh, I forgot. but 5 saves, that's crazy. That's crazy. If he was in a roto league, he would just be trading any value that he has from his save guys and just getting other stuff because he unless he wouldn't want to give up on it yet. I mean, he's only 7 saves behind Spear, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Spear is similar, right? He only has 16 save opportunities, but I bet you Spear has a lot of holds too. He's got 14 holds. So, all right. Well, I guess that's good for this, right? Let me see what. Forgot to key in on Norm's rest of the year thing. So, see, it likes Norm the rest of the year. So, it has Norm as an above 500 team from this point forward. So, I think it has. It has you finishing in 8th right now. So we can expect that cows are going to climb from the basement. So watch out, Jeff, because Norm probably won't come in last.
Moo.
So it does have McBride's finishing last, but very close with the dads. So it doesn't like the dads right now.
I don't like the dads right now.
So well,
yeah, I think I'll do better when I get some of these injured guys back.
Do you have injured hitters?
I've got probably my 2 best, well, second and third best catchers are both out. And then I've got 5 pitchers, one of whom's going to be out for the year. And B.E.E.R is going to be out for probably the year, but he might come back, supposedly.
I thought he was supposed to be back around September, but
that's what they're saying. But
if only if they're in playoff contention, which
yeah,
likely probably will be.
True.
Yeah, I mean, again, this model doesn't take into account who's coming back. Obviously, it's not predicting any injuries going forward. I know that my team this year has been. I won't even bother knocking on wood because it doesn't matter. But my team's been pretty fortunate this year with injuries. I really haven't had an injury that would really affect my team, except for after the retention lists, Hoskins is out for the year. But
yeah,
but other than that, during the year, I really haven't had that like, oh man, I haven't nothing.
I haven't really either. I had a Horner that was down for a little bit. That kind of sucked. And then I got Danny Jansen, who's on the injury list now. but I haven't really been hurt
Well,
too
that's a
badly
big one, though.
this year
Jansen's
so
a big
far.
one.
I trade away all the guys that get hurt all the time.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be getting McKenzie and Woodruff back fairly soonish.
Yeah, that's big. Tristan
Where you
McKenzie.
got hit was on pitching mostly. I mean, you got a
Yeah.
couple of catchers down, but I mean, they're not exactly guys that light up the earth.
Yeah, well, I had some hitters that were out, but they're mostly back.
Well, you were number one in pitching, I don't know, a few weeks ago anyway, 2-3 weeks ago. Now you're like fourth in ERA. And what was it, second in FIP? So
Yeah, that was good old Grayson Rodriguez.
He got sent down.
yeah, they sent him
Yeah.
down. Huh?
Yep. Which is nice because
They might have brought him up a little too quick.
yeah, he'd gotten to the point where I didn't really want to start him anymore, so at least can stash him on the NA and
Yeah.
get some more productive dudes in there.
Yeah.
So I had Brian Reynolds, I think it was Saturday. He had a big red X by him. No, was it Reynolds? I don't even know who it was. I think it was Reynolds, but had a big red X by him. So I dutifully, moved him to my bench and put in another guy for him. So I won't start non-catchers if they're not starting the game. I don't want one at bat. But he did play. I mean, or it could have been Diaz. I can't remember who it was, but they got 12 points that day. It's like shit. And then, of course, that would be, that would have been an extra win.
Yeah, I don't think you can trust Yahoo to be 100% accurate on who's in and out.
I mean, if I wasn't lazy, I would check. I really like the Roto Grinders site for lineups. I looked at like a half a dozen of those a few years ago, and I realized that I liked Roto Grinders the most. That's the one that's associated with one of the I think it's one of the gambling sites like DraftKings or something. I can't remember, but they're good. Like they seem to be a little quicker. When you're like dying, like is he gonna play? Is he gonna play? Is he gonna play? The game's almost gonna start. The other game the earlier game that you're gonna bench the guy as long as you know that the guy's in the later game is starting. But anyways, just a tip. I don't know that it's the best one, but when I looked at it a couple of years ago, Roto Grinders was good. So if
I've never gone to that one.
if I wasn't lazy, I would always check that, but I don't. I mean, I'm not going to check that. I'll check it if there's no designation yet, but if there's a green or or a red in Yahoo, I'm trusting that, and then I move accordingly. And this time it didn't work out, so I don't know what happened with that. So
let me go through a list of some moves this week and get these out of the way.
Sure.
So for Atlanta, they brought back Soroka. He's getting called up from AAA.
He's pitching right now.
Is he?
Yeah,
how's he doing? Anybody
pitching
got
against the
yellow?
A's. It was like in the second inning. He had no runs allowed
Okay.
yet, but he didn't look sharp. He had Eddie Rosario went back to the left field fence and pulled in a homer for him.
Wow, that helps.
He's no Gold Glover, right? So
I mean, you see,
good play though.
Varsho had 2 go off his glove and for home runs in the same game the other day.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I think they might even been back to back.
Oh no shit!
Sometimes
when behind the plate again.
Sometimes when these things happen, like Friday night, Saturday night, I think Adolis had that big game for you, and it was on a Saturday. Sometimes the weekend, I don't. If something happens on like Wednesday night, man, I'm on. I know what happened in almost every game, But if it happens Friday or Saturday, it can like slip through the cracks,
Yeah. Minnesota, Kepler and Lewis. We got Max Kepler and Royce Lewis. They're both coming back off the IL.
Yeah, I've got Kepler on the IL. I don't know if I'm going to just drop him. I'm not sure. I'm going to look at it tomorrow.
Yeah, see who's better. Max Muncy, this one hurts a little bit. He left the game the other day with some hammy tightness, so I'll have to keep an eye on him.
That's your guy?
No, that's Dr. Satchel.
No.
I think so.
Well, boo-hoo.
Yeah. Did you guys see this with New York Rizzo? Tatis was going back into the bag, and then he hip checked Rizzo right in the head. And now Rizzo's got sore neck. He's got a sore neck. He's got a little tightness in his neck. You didn't see that?
Yeah, they're holding
Didn't
him
see
out tonight.
Yeah. Do you think that was kind of dirty, or
I
he
didn't
was
see
just
the
trying to get back to the plate?
I didn't see the
I didn't see it.
play.
Yeah, it was like I don't know if it was like a pickoff play, and he just didn't go down. I can't remember. Maybe it was somebody throwing. I just saw Tatis going back in the bag. He didn't slide, and he just kind of like lunged into the bag, and his hip just cracked Rizzo on the right side of the face. A little hip check action there. And speaking of Yankees, what about the cheating of one Aaron Judge, who can't keep his eyes off his dugout? He'd rather watch the dugout than the pitcher.
Yeah, the story hasn't. I thought it was done, and then I just saw something today about it. I don't know what the article was from, but that they're keeping the whole thing going. That he was lying. Obviously, he wasn't worried about chirping from his dugout or whatever he said. But
Chirping from the dugout. Okay, number one, why are you going to chirp at your batter while he's up at the plate? Why are you trying to distract him? That doesn't make any fucking.
yeah, but I mean,
You
nobody at
don't
the
do
plate.
that.
Nobody at the plate is going to like right before the pitch, like worry about what's going on in the dugouts. Just
Exactly.
But so he lied most likely. But are they doing something illegal? As long as there's nobody in the stands with binoculars and some electronic, transmitter or something, if it's
It's
just the
almost to this
coaches.
point right now that Major League Baseball needs to have like an official in the goddamn dugout watching these guys, watching what they do.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I think they do have somebody at least in every clubhouse or something like that, right? MLB has a guy, not the network, but I mean, Major League Baseball
if
has.
they had that, they would have caught what the Astros were doing years ago, a couple years ago.
Well, I don't know if they had it then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Something telling me they're up to the same shit. Somebody's out there in center field sending a signal back, and then it's getting relayed from the dugout. That's what's happening.
I don't know. That's so.
I've never seen a
It's
player
such a
do that,
quick.
dude.
It's such a quick thing. I can't see how that would work unless it was, an electronic, like a buzzer. Or
No,
whatever.
what they do is they hang different colored towels up or something. And he goes over if he sees red or if he sees white or if he sees black. It's super easy to do.
Well, maybe
You know?
John Boy will look into it because are there other at bats that I would think that those would have come out now, where Judge right before the pitch is like glancing over. As far as I know, that's the only one. So I don't know.
I've never seen a batter do that before in my life.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think I don't know what's going on with it, but
It doesn't
think
look good.
They would have. It's been what, a week and a half since it happened.
The first time they caught him, yeah, it was a play-by-play.
So by now, people that like John Boy that go into the video, they would have had all these at bats where Judge right before he hits a home run looks over. But anybody would notice that by now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
you would think they'd notice like hanging towels in the dugout, like the other team would notice that because they'd be able to see it too.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Well, I mean, that's not what they're doing. It's something like I brought up. It's something you can do really quick. You know what I mean? Where it's not like they're throwing a sign to him and he's got to find the person who's going to throw him the sign. If they're putting something out and all he has to do is see that thing.
And this is different too because it's not like they're stealing signs. They're like, this guy's Bassett is tipping his pitches. And
well, that could be it too, but I mean,
so
I don't know. If he's tipping his pitches, that's on the pitcher.
yeah, I mean that's baseball's stance. As long as it's not electronic surveillance, it's just something that the first base coach can catch, then all's fair. So, and if you don't like it, you can always plunk Judge next to it. But if you want to do that, like, hey, no more glancing, So,
but here's the thing, though: when you're tipping your pitches and shit like that, you don't know what pitch is coming until he's in his windup.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And if is he in his windup when no, he's not in his windup when he's looking over there.
Well, there are pitchers that hold, would hold the glove differently. Like some guys would hold the glove farther from their body. Some guys would hold it tight, depending on the pitch. I mean, that's real easy, and that does give you some notice. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right, moving along.
Yep.
Eloy Jimenez is back, but for how long?
For how long?
Ben Joyce gets called up. He's a 105-mile-an-hour fireballer from the University of Tennessee, and he's Angels property. And I went to pick him up, and he was about an hour old in the Capital Knocker system. So
Woo! What's his first name?
Ben Joyce,
Ben Joyce.
Wasn't he like just picked in the last draft or something too?
I think so.
Hmm.
So he throws 100. He was throwing 105.5 miles per hour, and they just brought him up. So
Looks like Sid Finch.
yeah, but he threw 107, I believe.
160. Didn't they say it was like 160? Like,
I don't think it was that fast. I think it was like 107. It was like
oh,
7 miles an hour faster than Nolan Ryan at the time.
yeah. That was pre-Aroldis, and so
Yeah.
that's back when throwing 107. That was hard. Nowadays, it's like it's nothing. Even I could hit 107.
Kenta Maeda coming back. I don't know how much anybody cares about that, but he will be back in the Twins rotation.
I'm sure Mrs. Maeda is very happy.
Jesus Sanchez coming back to the Marlins. He's on a rehab assignment. You got the Royals that just gave up on Hunter Dozier.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They signed him to that 4-year extension or whatever, and then after 2 years they drop him.
Almost since the time he signed that, he started. I mean, it really was since then that he started to go down.
One of those guys playing for millions of dollars, and once he got it, that's all he wanted.
I don't know. I think maybe, but it's probably just he just lost it or something.
I think you see that more in basketball than you do baseball. But there is that thing, that contract here,
Yeah.
where they work extra hard to have a really good season when they could do that every year.
Or like in Baez's case with the Mets, I mean, he knew he's going to be a free agent in the offseason, and he was a good boy. He watched pitches, he walked, his OBP was high, for him, and he got not he didn't get Carlos Correa, not Carlos Correa, Corey Seager money, but he did well for himself.
Well, he did well for himself, and then immediately, probably, I don't know, he just got his money.
He's on the gaggers right now.
Yeah, it's all guaranteed.
I had Willie Adames went to a concussion IL or whatever, so I picked up Baez. So I don't think he's done much for me.
Well, no, he hasn't done much for anybody, because I had him last year. He was shitty. I started with him this year. He only qualifies at shortstop, and it's just like
he had a good
shitty,
run, though.
so he was just taking up space in my roster, so I dropped him. The only reason I kept him is because I needed somebody at middle infield, and he only went for $4 this year, so that's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, he did go on a good run after that benching, but then he cooled off. So, but I don't know.
Biggest mistake that I've ever made was not protecting Trey Turner to pick up Javi Baez, because I thought I was going to pay out the ask for Turner that year, and I thought Baez would actually have a good year.
What year was it?
Oh God, this is probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. The year, I think it might have been the year he was traded.
And Turner, has had a bad start. But
he's had a bad start this year, but man, that guy was golden the last few years, and I don't think that bad start's going to last long for him.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody thinks that. Yeah. Who has Turner?
That would be Mr. I think Gambler Spear. He traded for him. He traded Seager for him before the season started.
To Satch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if Satch was thinking about Seager because of the what he would do without the shift. Like, that he was one of the hitters that they targeted as, like the 5 hitters that are going to benefit the most or whatever. I was wondering if that was the reason.
Well, I thought Schwarber would be one of those too, but apparently that's not the case. I think he's still hitting about 200 pounds. He weighs more than he hits. Going right along here, Eric Hosmer released by the Cubs.
Now that you mention that, like Mario Mendoza, at least like he weighed less, than his batting average.
Yeah.
So that's
Zach Davies came off the IL, so he's back. And then we already mentioned this before. Grayson Rodriguez has been sent down. So he's going to be down in AAA trying to fix his shit. Tyler Glasnow has been activated.
Yeah, the Rays need him. Hopefully he'll stay healthy. I mean,
Yeah, well, he just happens to be on Satch's team, so the rich get richer. Danny
Crazy.
Jansen on the IL with a groin strain. That affects me because he's my third catcher, and he's actually having a pretty productive year.
And I know Kirk was out there for a while, and I was close to picking him up, but I didn't.
See how tall that guy is?
No.
Oh my God! If you haven't seen Alejandro Kirk, he looks like a Loompa Loompa. Hold on one second. Let me bring up the stats on him. He's pretty short and stout.
More than what was it, Mercedes for the Sox?
Yeah.
No, he's more like Pablo Sandoval shaped.
So Alejandro Kirk stands 5'8", 245 pounds.
Wow. A lot of times, if you're 5'8" on that, you might be 5'7", right? So
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I tell you what, you watch him run around the bases, man, and it's like a bowling ball with legs.
but anyways, Kirk was out there as a free agent, and I didn't pick him up because I looked at he was playing like half the time, even though they've got a DH spot. But now, of course, that problem is solved. Without Jansen, he'll be a good pickup. I forgot who got him, but you know,
We'll see how it goes. Will Myers, he's on the 10-day disabled list for the Reds. And Julio Iglesias, Jose Iglesias. Yeah, Julio
Julio Iglesias,
Who's the guy from the Padres, the shortstop?
Jose.
Jose.
Is he on the
He
Padres?
opted out of his Padres deal because apparently they were going to give him a spot on the roster, and he was still down in the minors.
It's weird with Machado out. You'd think that would increase his chances of finding some time. And even wasn't Kim hurt, or I guess he's back. I don't know if he was. I saw that he was maybe hurt, but
Not sure. Mets DFA Sanchez, Gary Sanchez, barely knew you. I guess they want to send him back to
He
AAA.
just got signed by San Diego.
Oh, no shit. Gary Sanchez went to San Diego?
Yep.
yeah, because they have what Campasano's out.
Yeah.
And Nola's doing terrible. So
Yeah, I actually saw him out there, and I just like looked at before I picked him up, I was trying to pick up a catcher. I picked up Zunino. He got me a couple of points, but not much. And I saw him out there and looked at his numbers. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to pass on this one and go to the next.
I think when I think it was Grandal was out. Maybe it could have been Will Smith. One of those two was out for a while, and I picked up Nola. He did absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a bad idea by the Padres. The Mets, they have Narvaez coming back, so they got Nito back. So there's their two catchers now with the young guy with Alvarez, who's hitting homers. I mean, granted, he was just in Colorado, but he's looking good, and he's looking good behind the plate. So when Narvaez comes up, Nito's going to go to AAA because unless he starts hitting, which his OPS has got to be. I don't even know if it's 500. I mean, it's definitely not 600. 600 would be
Who's
a
got
dream.
Alvarez?
I do.
Who?
Oh, you got Alvarez?
Yeah.
He was one of those guys I almost picked up off the waiver period, and then I was just like,
Well, he was on, I forget whose team, but whoever
he was
it
on
was,
Spear, I think.
they didn't protect him or Jeremy Pena in the offseason. So I put in
McBride's?
a
Was it
claim.
McBride's?
No,
I think it might have been Gaylor.
Jeremy Pena was on Let's Play.
I think they both might have been then. Some pretty, maybe it's been a while. But I know I put in claims on both of them, and somebody got Pena instead of me. But
Well, I almost put it. I picked the wrong guys. Let's just put it that way.
Well, Pena hasn't done very well this year so far. So
now,
but Alvarez looks good. He didn't look good at first, but he looks good.
Yeah, he's been warming up.
I have a high confidence in him because he's actually improved even since April. You know what I mean? Like you're actually seeing smarter at bats and his defense, which was the big concern. He seems fine to me. In fact, I mean, I don't like him more Nito behind the plate. But when you factor in the fact that Nito is just awful.
Nito.
You know, he's just awful as a hitter now. And I didn't always think that about. I was a Nito proponent, but I can't defend him anymore. He's just so bad.
Yeah. Kyle Hendricks came back off the IL. They sent Madrigal down because they needed the space on the team, and he was immediately shelled. So we'll see how much Kyle Hendricks has left in the tank for the rest of his career. I think he might be done.
His career ERA is like less than 3.5. I think it was like 3.46 or something. I mean, it's a low ERA for his career.
I'll bring it right up.
Yeah, I grabbed him a while ago and stashed him on the IL, and then when he came off, I didn't have the courage to start him, and that worked out.
His career ERA is 3.46.
Okay, yeah, that's what I remembered.
But in his career, he's only got 87 wins and 62 losses, and he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, even when he was younger, he wasn't a big innings per start guy. You know, he was a 5 inning start guy.
Yeah, and then when you do that, there's too many times relief pitchers can vulture a win because they couldn't keep the lead.
But he was a good pitcher. I mean, he was always an underrated pitcher in our league, and you know, there's worse things than having 5 quality innings, you know, as opposed to a guy that's going to get rocked. But yeah,
well, if he didn't have those negatives, you know, he didn't have many negative days.
Yeah, but
you always knew you were going to get positive points out of him.
About last year, I said, like, I think, you know, I'm just off the Hendricks train now, you know. So I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, I don't know, but definitely by now.
And then the last thing I have here, and Lou, you're going to really love this because you guys dodged a bullet, but Korea is having foot issues.
Yeah, supposedly unrelated. You know,
bullshit.
Unrelated to the ankle, but
it's in the same foot, it's in the same leg.
Yeah,
but it's unrelated. Well, guess what? I call.
Well, if something's bothering somebody too, I mean, I guess you worry about it more for a pitcher, but then you always think like, then they're gonna screw themselves up. You know, they're not gonna step the same way, and then the elbow is gonna go. You know, something like that. So
yeah,
but
they make adjustments to make their foot not hurt, and it fucking throws off their swing.
I mean, still though, I think the Twins got him for 6 years, and that's a pretty good, you know, length for signing a guy like that. You know, I think they got really lucky, right? He was going to get what, 12 years or something. The Mets. I mean,
you gotta be lucky the Mets decided to walk away from that deal.
Yeah, I wasn't on board with that. I haven't been on board with a lot of the big things the Mets have done. You know, so I guess now so far this year, I'm looking, you know, right about that. But who knows? You know, maybe they'll pull it together and these guys will stay healthy and pitch great down the stretch. Who knows? But it's not.
How's Vogelbach doing?
He's doing, you know, mediocre. I can't say he's doing terrible, but he's not doing well or anything. He's not like killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
with him,
darling last year.
He has to hit. You know, he has to hit when he's in there because that's it.
That's all he's there for.
He's a DH. So if he's not mashing, you know, his side of the DH platoon, then, you know, potentially he could be released this year because they've got enough guys in the minors that they can switch around and put in there. I don't know. Somebody's going to go probably, and Vogelbach or maybe Pham. I think those would be the first 2 that would go.
Yeah.
Luke Voigt got DFA'd today.
Yeah.
Luke Voigt?
Yep.
Well, that's because they picked up Sanchez. Wasn't he on San Diego?
No, he was on Milwaukee, I think.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah. I wonder if the A's are going to get him. They just released Aguilar. I wonder if the A's will give him, you know, just see what's up, you know.
Wouldn't that be their second go around with him? Wasn't he originally with the A's?
I don't remember that. That's too long.
I think so. I think that was before
the Yankees, right?
Well, no, the Yankees got him from the Cardinals.
Oh, jeez. I don't remember all this.
Yeah, because he was like trade deadline pickup that year. And
oh, you're right. Cardinals, New York, San Diego, Washington, Milwaukee.
But he had that one good year.
Yeah.
Well, he had 22 home runs in 56 games for the New York Yankees and then got hurt for the rest of the season.
That sounds like Sanchez, 22 homers in 56
and
games.
he tore it up in the COVID year too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's 22 home runs in 22, 11 home runs in 21. But, he's never hit more than 22 home runs in a season.
Oh, see, I thought he hit like 30 with the Yankees.
No, but he hit 22 homes in 56 games. I mean, he had a home run for almost every 10 at bats that season.
Yeah. I mean,
So he had a
that's a pace
234
for.
at bat. Well, actually, no, he had less than that because I'm looking at plate appearances. At bats, he had 213. He had 22 home runs. So he was 9 point something per at bats. He
Yeah,
was hitting a home run.
that's Babe Ruth is like 1 in 10, so that's better better
That's
than
a
Babe.
Ruthian season, pretty much. All right. You know
Babe
what? You
did it
guys
for a
talk
little
amongst
longer though.
yourselves. This dog is really up my ass wanting to go outside. So I'll be right
Okay,
back.
all right, Norm. This is where we just talk bad about Jeff. You got any grievances you want to air about Jeff? At least gone.
No.
He won't see it until this goes on YouTube. So
Yeah. But so we were talking the other day about the baseball picture and what year it was,
yeah,
and it hit me. That would have been probably one of the years that we had the draft at the Black Beetle,
okay.
because that was like, I can't remember if I know my first draft was at Wrigleyville, and maybe my second might have been there too. But did we go straight from there to the Black Beetle?
This is my best record keeping about this, and some of this is not even right. Oh, I think I did correct it. Okay, good. But it looks like we did the Beetle from '98 to 2000. Oh, so no, this isn't right. The year I wasn't in the league, you guys did it at Bermersky's, and I didn't have that in here. So I think we did the Black Beetle like '98, '99, and Chad had said that he thought it was '98, that picture. So
It could be, because
your first year in the league was '97, and that's when we had it at Wrigleyville Tap, and that was the first year of the auction. So you never did a
yeah,
draft with us.
no, that was actually what got me. Like, Chad and Doug had been trying to get me to join for a while, and I was like, nah, I don't really pay that much attention and blah blah blah. But then once the auction thing happened, that sounded interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I mean,
So that was
I had won the league the year before with the draft. So the draft was really my friend, and the auction I wasn't as good at, but I still had more fun doing the auction than the draft. And now I finally think I know how to do the auction, but it took about 20 years. So, so but yeah, your first year was '97, so that's 26 years in the league, and this is your 27th, and 4 championships. So that's only second to Chris. Oh, it's only second to Chris. You're right. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I'm feeling sad she'll be catching that pretty quickly.
15 money finishes out of 26 years. 19 out of 26, you're above 500. Of course, 7 below. So, yeah. So in your first championship.
Ooh, and no last place so far.
Let's see. Oh, no less. Yeah. So you and Doug are the longest tenured, but Doug's been in the league what, one more year than you?
Or at least several.
One more year than you. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He came in '95, and then I think he wasn't in '96. I think that was the year he might have had some
Didn't
trouble
he
with,
like split a team
from
with
the tower?
Didn't he have like a co-manager for a while or something?
Yeah, Doug and Jeff.
Jeff.
So what was his first year without Jeff? Was Doug in here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like '99 was his first year without Jeff, and that was the year I didn't play. So '99 was the year that he had it at Bermersky's. '98 was Black Beetle, and I think we went back to the Beetle, 2000, 2001. At least according to what my records are. I'm glad I wrote them down because I would never remember anything now. Like the Hottie Biscotti years in 2003 and 4.
Yeah.
I hardly remember that.
Yeah, me either.
Jeff asked me where that was. Where was Biscotti?
It's on Fullerton, just I can't remember the exact cross street, but it was like west of Kimball.
Okay, yeah, I had it like far north. I didn't remember where it was. So, but let's see. So you joined
Yeah.
97. So what was the first year you won? Like 2002 or something? Let's see, Doug in 2001. And then, oh, 2002. Oh, that's the year that I think that you have the highest win percentage of all time, right? Is that the year we always talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah, your
I
record
don't
is
think
safe.
I've
Your
had
record
it.
is safe this year. You know, people might not even get to 100 wins this year. We'll see. I mean, somebody will get hot, and maybe Phil will get to 100. But right now, the model says 97 wins is going to win the league, which is a modest total, right? You can look at these.
I would have got you second place that year.
Look at it, in 2014, 93. You won it in 2014 with 93. So that's one of the lower totals that we'll find. When else did you win it? 2009. All right, so 2002, 2009, 2014. And where's the one I'm missing?
Well, what's up with 2004?
Oh, yeah. Okay, 2004. Yeah. So
Because I think
2004. Yeah. Okay, there you are. Yeah, that's the one that Bremerski had the records, and we don't have any of these records now. That's where Bremerski finished first. You finished second, but we just declared you the winner because of all the nastiness,
shenanigans.
the discrepancies or whatever. So,
Did I wind up in last ever?
One last place finish.
Well,
So Norm's never finished in last either. So it's Doug with 27 seasons and then Norm with 26. And then you have to go to Phil and Kimmler. Phil's had 10 seasons and Kimmler's had 3. So pretty nice.
Oh,
26 seasons without finishing in last.
Phil's been in for 10 years.
Yeah, isn't
wow.
that funny?
Yeah.
Time flies.
Where's the year you finished last, Jeff? I don't remember it too well. No. Oh, there it
Happens
is.
to be 2017.
2017.
50 and 103.
Not a good year.
Oh,
But, all right. So yeah, so Norm won in 2002, 2004, 2009, and 2014. So it's been some seasons since you won one, but Norm's won 4 titles, and that's only second to Chris with 6. So, and hopefully Phil doesn't tie you this year. So.
glad to get you on, Normie. I mean, hell, you work 3 to 11s or something.
No, it's just that usually I like wouldn't get home in time.
Ah, gotcha.
He gets home 9 his time. That's midnight for me.
That's true.
So.
Well, we'll have the hardest time trying to get Steiger on one of these days. We'd have to do that at noon on a weekend or something in order to make that happen. And I don't even know if he works or.
I was thinking the Monday of July 4th weekend. I think it's July 3rd. Unless you're going away or have plans for 4th of July weekend.
I don't think so.
That would be his next shot. Norm is on the road going to San Fran that weekend. So the next time we could have Norm on is probably Labor Day weekend. So.
Yeah, right now is not a good time to go to San Fran. It's the homeless out there. They outnumber the ones that are paying rent right now.
Well,
Yeah.
Norm will be staying at the Ritz anyway, So.
Well, I'm actually just going to meet a couple people, hang out for a few hours, and taking off.
How long of a drive is that for you?
12 hours.
Wow.
See, I'm gonna get most of the way there, sleep, then head out, see them, and head back.
So originally you thought that your housemates were gonna have a barbecue today, but
Yeah.
they went to Texas, you said, right?
Yeah, they're going to pick up a puppy.
You said you met your housemates through karaoke. What were you singing karaoke?
No, but they had it at the bar by my apartment, and the guy who ran the karaoke was like, the quintessential Chicago dude with the accent and everything. And he was friends with them, so that's how I met them.
Are any of them from Chicago?
No, Melanie's from Wisconsin and Destry's from Utah.
Midwest representing over there. So would they get
Oh,
another Great Pyrenees or
it's another Newfoundland.
a Newfie? Okay, but those are the black ones, right?
Yeah.
God, black dog in the Arizona sun.
Oh yeah. You gotta in the summer he can only go out for like maybe 15 minutes at a time.
Even my dog over here, he has a little rough time, being out there in the sun too long because he's mostly black. He's kind
Yeah.
of got like the tuxedo. But
Yeah, he's got a lot less hair though.
What's the weather been like down there? Is it hot already, or?
It's been around like high 90s, low hundreds.
Ooh, man. Yeah, it's just starting to get warm here. Like today was a pretty nice day. It was probably like mid or upper 70s. I don't know exactly, but it felt warm. It felt.
Yeah. No, I was out painting the house the last couple days, and
now, do you hit up any like games and stuff when you got spring training going on in that area?
I've been to a couple spring training, and I get free tickets from work every once in a while to go see the D-backs.
That's nice.
But I
But I
really,
mean, you got all those teams there, that one part of the beginning of the year, like that in March and February, it's like real easy to go watch whoever you want. If you wanted to go
yeah,
to, I know your Yankees aren't out that way, but
yeah. The problem is I really don't know anybody that likes baseball out here.
no shit. I'd go by
Yeah.
myself. Hell, fuck.
They're all big. They're all big hockey fans, right? That's Arizona's known to love their hockey.
Uh,
It's rattlesnake chase.
yeah, people I know, like most of them aren't really into sports, and then the ones that are, it's like basketball and football.
Yeah. Well, it's more
I did,
you hang around more of an art crowd, right? A musician art crowd, right?
eh,
Karaoke.
like, yeah, like probably mostly musician types, but D&D nerds and stuff are represented as well.
I was asking you about Tricus, right? So Tricus is in between formations right now, incarnations.
Yeah, we're looking for a singer. Trying one out on Saturday, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard to find a singer.
Well, it's weird because, like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 people have, responded to try. Well, yeah, like probably this will be the fifth or sixth person that like said they wanted to try out, but only 2 people have showed up, and like everybody else just flakes out on it
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Why don't you go back to that karaoke place and see if there's anybody with some talent?
That place is gone. Actually, one of the people that did show up, that was like the main thing on his resume was he was, a karaoke singer at some place that had live band karaoke.
That's
So
band.
like
It's just
been
his
on
dream to be the
stage.
front man in a band.
Yeah, but he wasn't really quite up to snuff.
He wasn't Tricus material.
No.
Come back in a few years, bub. Well, I'm gonna just bring up the hitters. We'll just go through that.
All right.
Let's see. I don't know if this is the right one or not. Maybe it's this one. Well, let's see. This could be the pitchers. I don't know. We'll see what it says. Okay, good. It's the hitters.
Cuna's still on top there.
Cuna's on top. So Sombreros are enjoying him, and they need him. So it's good they got him. And Spears got Freeman. See anybody? I guess I should have my glasses on. Spears got Freeman. That's the only guy in the top half of the page here. Gagsev Semyon. Satch has got Matt Olson, Paul Goldschmidt.
Why do you keep
Yordan
skipping over my
Alvarez.
guys?
Yordan Alvarez. And he has Devers too, right? He's I guess he's off the top of the page now, but that's pretty nice. Alvarez too. Jeez, I forgot that. And daddies have Alonso and Adolis.
Juan Soto making it into the top 15 there.
Yeah, he's creeping. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, there he is. All right, so I'm sure Juan will be creeping up toward here now.
You know what's funny is after the last one we did, Dad heard me complaining about how expensive Soto was for what he was doing.
Did he make you an offer?
Oh, absolutely. Take it, but he wanted to give me like Julio Rodriguez and a starting pitcher for Soto.
Rodriguez is doing
I'm like, well,
worse
fucking.
than Soto was doing.
I'm like, Capital Knockers got a lot more than that for Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, I don't know. Soto's just one of, I mean, you can always be wrong, but I'm just never worried about him. He's a little
Last year
strange.
he wasn't very good last year, but he was dealing with injuries and stuff throughout the season. So
with him, it's always been his launch angle or whatever, and he just makes a few tweaks, and when he figures it out, boom, it's done. So I've never worried about Soto. I don't know. McBride's have Wander, which is nice that they got the right Wander. Remember the first time I think they got the guy in the Giants or something.
Yeah.
Who would think there's three guys named Wander Franco? I mean, I guess there's two Wilmer Floreses now, but and a bunch of Luis Garcias, and I think they're both on the IL. The Luis Garcia for the Astros, and then the reliever for the Padres. I think they're both on the IL. And there's Luis Garcia for the Nationals, right? The second baseman. Maybe he's the one in the IL. I don't know. Maybe they're all in the IL. I don't know. But the Cows, the pride of the Cows, Bo Bichette. That's a good player for the Cows. I mean, like if you had a real team, that would I think Bichette would probably be on your team. And Betts. So the killer bees there, Bichette and Betts, huh? Alrighty.
nice.
And, we'll just bring up the pictures real quick here. Let's see, where are they? Just talk amongst yourselves while I get this page ready.
Hey, Jeff.
It shifts on me. I have it all queued up, and then when I go to it again, it's like shifted to the bottom. So let's bring it up all nice. Okay, that looks good. All right, I'm going to share this one. I think this is it. I don't know. That's where the. Oh, good. All right. So McBride's at McClanahan, which is the guy that they got at the auction that they were. That was.
I wish we would have drove him up to 200 points.
$200.
Yeah, he said match at any cost. Could you imagine if he would have gone for like 100? If anybody had known that,
he would have. Yeah, but he wouldn't have been able to go. Well, he would have been able.
He had almost what is it, $100 left over?
He would have been able to go to whatever, like 80 or something. But then you want to take that chance. He's yours. Oh,
I'll tell you what, he'd be $80 well spent at this point.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't have all his, dollar amounts like where everybody could see them. It was bad enough that I had to see them, but I certainly.
So if you look at that last page and you look at this page, I've got 3 guys in the top 15 hitting. I've got 2 guys in the top, 15 in pitching. What the fuck? You know what it is? It's all the schlubs that are getting me minus points.
No, it's like a stars and scrubs, right? You've got, I mean, most of what you do in season is bringing up your bottom end anyway, right? I mean, your top guys are going to be on your team the whole year, for better or for worse.
Hey, these numbers are wonky, Lou.
Are they?
Yeah, look, Logan Webb's got 178. Below him is Mitch Keller with 179.
Oh, it's not sorted right. Oh, it's sorted by ranking. Here, sorted by. There we go. All right, yeah. Thanks. I don't know if the hitters was the same way. Could have
Well,
been.
if you look at it though, some of these guys got more starts than the others, so they're actually doing a little better. I like going by the current ranking anyway.
But yeah, so McBride's have Glanahan, and the Cows have Framber, Mitch Keller. Is he still doing well?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they aren't they like they're trying to extend him.
I mean, they're going to have to sign somebody someday, right?
You'd think.
I think some of those teams, like the Pirates and the Reds, I know the
Well,
Reds extended Hunter Green, and I think they're looking at like what the Braves did, right? The Braves extended Austin Riley, maybe even Michael Harris. Did they do him that?
yeah, I think so.
So they're extending their young guys, and it reminded me of like it's a smart thing to do as long as you know what you're doing, right? And if you notice, I don't know if the Braves did it with Strider, but the Braves are doing it with their young hitters mostly, and the Reds went ahead and did it with Hunter Green, and the Pirates are talking to Keller, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad that the Pirates are actually going to try to keep some of their players. That's a
Well, they did keep
step in the right direction, but
Reynolds.
it reminded me of like in Raiders of the Lost Ark when Harrison Ford is in the front of the truck and he climbs to the back of the truck like while it's moving, on the road. He's like, and he gets up into the cab again and he kicks the Nazi out into the front of the truck, and the Nazi tries to do the same thing that Harrison Ford did, and the first thing he does is like he pulls like a rod off the grill and he gets run over. And I was like, maybe Harrison Ford is like the Braves, and maybe the Reds and Pirates are going to be like the Nazi that tries to do the same thing. And I don't know. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Maybe.
Anyways, Hack has Garrett Cole, who was number one for a lot of the year, and he's slipped to 3, but I think he'll still take it. And is that it for Hack? Gags have Evaldi and Merrill Kelly. Man, oh man, I didn't even have Evaldi coming out of the auction, and Merrill Kelly would have been like a guy like I wouldn't have been surprised if it wasn't on my team in third week of the season or something. But let's see, Knockers have Joe Ryan.
Oh, he's doing good.
Spirit Eduardo Rodriguez has not really moved. He's still up. He's still up there. He hasn't fallen.
If you look at it too, it's like he's not getting a lot of help from his bullpen. I mean, 11 starts, he's 183 points, and he's only got 4 wins. So he's pitching well. He's just not seeing anything for it.
Yeah, and a good team, he would have 6 or 7 wins, maybe, right? So,
and I've been seeing him talked as like the big deadline acquisition for starting pitching.
Yeah, I think even the Rays, I don't know if the Rays actually have been, but that's just what somebody was wondering about, that they do need a pitcher. But the Tigers aren't doing terrible, right? Aren't they? Aren't they relatively close to 500? Oh yeah, that's another thing. I was going to bring up like standings. We never look at the actual standings.
The Rays actually have Glass now coming back, so if he can, be decent.
But they're missing Rasmussen, Springs.
Oh yeah, Detroit is in second place.
Yeah,
25 and 27, 2 games back of Minnesota, who's 28 and 26.
So how there's no way that they could trade him at least right now. That division is so winnable.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing that they were saying is like, I forget who it was. They gave an example of a team that was on the cusp of being in contention and they traded away their best pitcher for like a haul of prospects and it ended up working out for them. Can't remember who that was, but I think the thing they're looking at with Detroit is they're, really not that close to, their window for contention. So if they can dump him for like a boatload of prospects, that would help,
But PR wise, they're probably going to have to wait.
Yeah.
They can't do it when they're 2 games out. And they'll probably get just as much for him on August 1st as they would now anyway, because team, they'll have him for less of the season, but it'll be more important. It'll be more important 2 months. So they'll probably get the same kind of thing anyway if they wait.
Yeah.
as long as he continues to do well, that's the risk, right? Like if he gets hurt
Or he gets
he
hurt.
starts plummeting, then they're gonna get lost. So I don't know, but he hasn't fallen yet.
Look, the Oakland A's are already 24.5 games back behind the lead.
Yeah, they're on pace for the worst record ever. They're even worse. What was it?
Is
10
Billy
and
Bean still affiliated with that team?
I think just on a real high up version.
Oh, so he's like a team president now.
Yeah,
He has
Yeah.
not a hands on.
apparently the guys they got doing the Billy Ball over there, the Billy the money ball shit, they can't add too well.
Maybe they hired Mario Mendoza, judging by their winning percentage.
But I mean, they're not trying. I mean, I think they're probably just about as smart as they ever were, but they're just not trying.
Well, I think what they might be doing is, they've got it built to where it's going to suck for a couple of years until that new stadium's built in
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They can go into that new stadium with two of the top draft picks in back-to-back years. I mean,
If they're definitely moving, there's no reason for them except out of consideration or just pride. But there's no incentive for them to even win more than 25% of their games this year. Like because they figure they're going to be gone anyway.
well, look at it this way. I mean, it's hard to move a team that's back in a stadium. The league kind of frowns upon that. But the ones that can't draw a damn soul, teams like, yeah, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So do they tank it, piss everybody off, and make sure they don't come to the stadium so they have an easier time just moving, or what?
Yeah, and the A's are having trouble with negotiating with Nevada too. I mean, they're looking for like 300, close to 400 million in the government, local government for infrastructure, whatever they talk about, and that's what the A's were looking for, and I guess that they were offered maybe half that. So there's negotiations going on there too.
Well, apparently, when they didn't already purchase a site up the strip.
They did, and then that one now they're looking at a second site. That one,
Yeah,
that deal is gone, I guess now.
I think they're doing a thing with the Tropicana, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
And
that's the second one. Is that the second deal? Yeah, because the first one was different.
Yeah, the first one was, I think, the one they wanted 500 million from the government, and now this next one's down to like 385 or something. But
yeah, and I think they were offered
they're
less than
partnering
200.
with the
They were
hotel.
offered less than 200, maybe 150, something like that.
Why the
good for
taxpayers should pay for anybody's ballpark
Yeah, I was going to say.
is just a bunch of bullshit. Look,
Yep.
take a loan out just like anybody else. If you're going to make your money back, pay your fucking loan off. Why do fucking taxpayers have to pay for this shit?
Yeah, I think that, in the past, 10 or 15 years, like, people have gotten smarter about this. Like, why are you going to give this billionaire or multimillionaire at least, tax money, and then he's going to take it, and then he's going to sell the team, and then part of the value of that team is going to be tied to the fact that they have a stadium and all this stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Those guys should be paying for all of it themselves, really.
Case in point, look at Seattle. Okay, Seattle, they built Safeco Field. Guess what? That was taxpayer dollar funded. Then all of a sudden, billionaire Paul Allen has a football stadium made, taxpayer funded. Now, why is a billionaire making the people that buys their products pay for this shit?
Because you know what I mean? Can, right? I mean, like,
right. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Well,
it is total bullshit.
Then this is back in the days of Seattle Supersonics. All of a sudden, the guy that owned the Key Arena or the Supersonics, he wants a new stadium. And at that point, everybody's like, no, fuck this shit. We've got enough. No. He sells the team off to this guy from Oklahoma City. He moves him out to Oklahoma City. And there you go. That's the type of games these fucking rich assholes play with people. It's like, fuck their fans. It's all about them.
I think the most egregious one was when the guy that owned the hockey team in Detroit had the taxpayers pay for his new stadium at the same time that they were telling Detroit to sell the artwork out of their museums to make the budget meet.
Yeah.
The Illich, the Little Caesars guy?
Yeah.
And then Illich on the other side was the one that wanted to buy that shit. Most likely.
I saw an article, I don't know when it was, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm not sure, but it was talking about the economic game. They try to sell it on that it's going to revitalize an area and create jobs, and it's going, boost the local economy, and that's how they sell it. But this economist looked at it that if a city doesn't have a baseball team, for instance, he finds that they still spend the same amount of money, entertainment dollars. It's just spent different ways. It doesn't really make the pie any bigger. It's
Well, what happens is those people that actually go out for entertainment actually get a little more bang for their buck instead of paying $13 for a fucking hot dog and $15 a beer. On top of that, getting into the goddamn game, damn well when the A's go to Las Vegas, that's going to be one of the most expensive tickets in all of baseball.
right.
It just.
But I do hope they go, because they can't stay in Oakland now. I mean, like this, what they're doing this year is just unforgivable.
Yeah.
And I have an old friend who's a big A's fan. He grew up in Berkeley area, right near the big A's fan, and this is hard. I mean, you think it's hard to be a Cubs fan, or whatever, but this is way worse. All right, well, finishing in this up,
Yeah.
Satch is Logan Webb, and Christian Javier, and Daddies have Justin Steele and Zach Gallen, right next to each other, and Knockers have B.E.E.R. Is that their only? Oh no, Joe Ryan and B.E.E.R. Okay, so it's almost time for Players of the Month. It'll be about a week, less than a week from now, right? It'll be Players of May.
Well, hey, tell you what, go back to that and put it up for 30 days with the last over the last 30 days.
It's going to ruin the surprise.
Oh well, or hey, we can do the last week.
Well, we already did Players of the Week.
Was that the week? Okay. That was for the year up to the point.
No, I mean in the beer league standings.
Oh, okay, I got you.
How about we'll compromise? We'll go like last 14.
Last 2 weeks.
Hello? Did it do it? There we go. So Michael Wacha, just like we all predicted, Michael Wacha.
You're not sharing the screen.
Oh. I'm just having my own fun. Okay.
Look at that big moose.
All right. Michael Wacha.
Waka. Oh, look at Lance Lynn's on his resurgence.
Mark Kelly, Christian Javier, Jose Berrios, Kopech and Valdez, Kyle Gibson, Kevin Gossman, Flaherty, Heaney, Luis Castillo, Lorenzen, and Stroman. Could do that. So what do we got any cows here? No? Any dads?
I got Lorenzen down there.
Yeah, he's
good. One of those guys I'm kind of hoping when the pitchers start coming back like Skubal and some of those other guys back into their thing and they move them back to the relief role, I could just keep them into the starting position, starting pitcher position, and he'll go more to a relief role and get some holds.
Well, I think they're going to keep him in the rotation if he's pitching well.
Oh, he's pitching good, but he's also a valuable reliever for them too.
I know he would love to be a starter, just like the guy the Mets let go. It's on Padres now. Big curve.
Oh, Lugo?
Oh. Yeah, that's Lugo. All right, past 14 days for hitters. Oh, you're not seeing this yet, are you? Okay, I did that. Okay. So it's Judge.
Yep, peeking.
Freeman. Jorge Soler. Thank you, Jorge. Without you, I'd have gone 0-6 probably for 2 weeks.
Jorge Soler's been on fire.
Who?
Soler's been on fire.
Yeah, and Alonso right side with him. Jordan, J.D. Martinez for Satch. Springer, the Knockers. Candelario, and I hardly ever play him. He's like my last bench guy, and I only play him. So I probably didn't get many of these 57 points.
He's 4 hits away from hitting 500 for that 2 weeks period. Hey, look at this Matt McClain kid. Since he's come up, he's been on fire.
Matt McClain.
He hasn't been up for even 2 weeks yet.
He's got 13 games. I guess it's more than some of these guys.
Well,
I guess he's been up for a full 2 weeks.
12.
Close to a full 2 weeks, anyway.
Almost a full 2 weeks now.
And then Spencer Steer for
Yeah, he
Let's
came out
Play.
of nowhere.
Yeah, this is a guy that I didn't know who he was really.
Yeah, well,
Spencer
nobody did
Strider,
really.
Spencer Steer, Matt Olson, Conforto. Nice to see him playing well. Sombreros have him, and Acuna just creeping
He's
at the bottom of the page.
yeah, he's dipping a little bit over the last 2 weeks, huh?
Any cows? Any cows? No. Dad's Alonzo.
Don't think so.
All
I
right.
just got Alonso up there. That's it. But I tell you what, if you could check on that next week, I'm sure Ryan McMahon will be on it.
Oh, when Jeff was gone, Norm, you were talking about the picture. Did you have a year that you think it was? You said it was when it was at the Beetle, and it looks like we had the auction at the Beetle in '98, first time. So maybe it was '98.
I'm thinking that might have been it.
Yeah.
98 or 99, I guess.
I'm gonna pull that up if I can find it here.
So I think no, probably 99 because that picture was most likely from our second season in the league.
That cat looks enormous.
He's actually
Just
not
the way
that
the
big.
camera is like, it looks.
Well, he's also like standing on a table. He's
Yeah.
not really that tall.
So here's the old picture that we've looked at with Doug and Chad, but now you're on too. So they've talked about all these guys, and this is the guy that passed away recently, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But he talked about all these guys. This guy was a defensive back at Miami.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin.
I think he was a wide receiver, actually.
Oh, wide receiver. And
but he's the owner of the Fireside Bowl.
Yeah.
So, and this is the guy that struck Ken Griffey out in the
Yep.
state championships games or whatever. And then Al Cassiello from the Renfields.
Yep.
I saw the Renfields many times. I was one of their woo woo guys. When they did Sympathy for the Devil, I would, me and Matt Parker, Tim Fowler, we would do the woo woos.
I call that the choo-choo train.
Yeah. So, but Normie, they said that you were center fielder, middle infielder, very fast. And you pitched a little bit. Had like a
mostly a left fielder. The guy to my left was our center fielder.
This guy.
Yeah, he was a young kid. He was an incredible center fielder.
You pitched a little bit. Doug said you had Doug or Chad said you had a knuckleball.
Yeah. I don't think I threw a knuckleball in a game, but
Oh.
there were a couple emergencies where I had to pitch. Definitely not my strong suit.
So, yeah, some good-looking ball players there.
Get out of the way.
Chad with his soul patch, and Doug with his Dapper Dan little stash there. Yeah. Well, I know we've seen this picture a lot, but I love this picture. I like the uniforms too.
Yeah, it really could be like 1950.
No. Doug told the story about how the night before your first game, you and him were staying up late, ironing on the required numbers and was it names too, or it had a B?
I think we had
just a B,
the team name and a number on the back.
Because that was a league requirement, so you guys
were
scrambling to do that, and that's early on. That's before that picture, so that's like 90 what? 3? I don't know.
Well, I know that we started. I was living over the Black Beetle when we started in the league. I just don't remember exactly what year it was.
So you lived, I remember going there, like we would take a break and then we go there after, it's because it was your place. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, I lived
like Meduki.
right
Did
upstairs.
You live there too?
No, I lived there with Brian. He was a bass player that I used to play with. But actually, he came out to D-Men this year. He was the guy that met us up there.
Oh, okay. I was talking to him. Yeah.
He and I lived above the Beetle, and then Chad lived.
I was a little indisposed, but I do remember a little. So, uh,
Yeah.
well, Norm, what would you like to talk about? Any stuff?
Well, I read something the other day that they were saying there's, the usual amount of people that are injured at this point in the season as normal, but it's a lot less hitters and a lot more pitchers.
Huh.
And they're wondering whether that's because of the pitch clock,
Oh, you gotta think so.
because they're not, used to throwing pitches that rapidly.
Yeah, not like getting completely set,
Yeah, which I thought was something interesting.
or that
Maybe,
their arms aren't resting an extra 15 seconds or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember in the offseason they were wondering if that was going to be a factor, especially for maybe older pitchers. They were wondering if that would
Yeah.
gas them
But
out.
I know there's certain guys that they said it's been working really well for because they like to work fast. And
Well, that's the thing we
the
were
hitters
talking
would
about
slow
a
'em
couple
down.
weeks ago was that some of these guys you normally don't see that are doing well in the first part of the season are actually doing well now. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, okay, yeah, he's okay pitcher, but who thought he'd be where he's at now? Some of these other pitchers, that are up there like Mitch Keller. If we go back and look at it, but we don't have to do that. There's just, a lot of pitchers you not normally see up in the top 15 that are up here this year, and I think it has everything to do with making them work a little faster. It works for them.
I mean, in most years, you're going to have guys that are kicking ass through May and then tail off. So I don't know if it'll be more pronounced this year. You could actually figure it out once the year's over. You can look at how predictive the prior years were to this year, and if this year was more volatile than most years. But I don't know. I mean, I certainly can't say that yet. That because I think we just forget. But there's years where guys do great, and then sometimes you don't even notice so much because their end of the year numbers are going to be padded by that hot start anyway. But if you break it apart and look at segments, there's a lot of guys that do crappy after pulling a first half out of their ass. So who knows? Is Sonny Gray? Well, he's going to tail off, but is he just going to be shit later? And is that because of this? Well, I guess what you're saying is that he won't tail. He maybe if those guys don't tail off, like we
There's a
expect.
possibility.
Yeah.
There's definitely a possibility. I mean, maybe they were guys that never really worked fast before, but now since they are forced to, they're realizing it actually works better for them.
Some
Yeah.
things at least I can't anticipate too well. Or, they don't make sense to me at least. Like, let's say a guy like Stroman. Stroman's doing great, and he's a ground ball pitcher. And wouldn't you think that like the lack of the shift would maybe hurt Stroman more than a strikeout pitcher? So some things don't make sense unless somebody's got a more advanced viewpoint that they can point out why that would be.
Yeah, he actually is having a pretty good year at 290. ERA is 2.95.
He kicked the Mets' ass, and then he had another good start, right?
But the thing is,
Yesterday or
if
today or
it wasn't for getting blown out a couple times, he'd have real good numbers, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, he just threw a one hitter the other day.
Yeah. Doc Ellis and the one hitters. No, it was the pinch hitters. That's right.
Let's see, the last 5 starts he had, last one was 8 innings, 2 earned runs. The one before that was 6, 1 earned run. This is where he got shelled. 2.2 innings, 6 earned runs. So there's that one right in the middle there that really brought some numbers down for him.
What were all the hits, walks, and strikeouts in that bad start?
In that bad start, he had 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, gave up a home run, 7 hits in 2 and 2.
Well, his last start was a complete game one hitter shutout.
Which
That might have been today.
No.
Yeah, it was
yesterday?
recent. Today or yesterday. So
Yeah.
that 2 2/3 start, that's 8 outs. How many strikeouts did he have?
3.
All right, so that's 5 outs that were balls in play, and he had allowed 7 hits.
Yeah, 7 hits.
All right, so that's 12 balls in play, 7 of which were hits.
Yeah, today he 1 hit. He had a complete game, 1 hit, shutout.
See, usually in 12 balls in play, he would have maybe 4 hits, and that would even be a little high. But so he allowed 3 more hits. Maybe, I mean, it could have been extra hard contact, but he probably was a little, unlucky there. So like sometimes these starts, they're like luck based, right? A good start, bad start. I see that all the time with my mediocre pitchers. If they go 6 innings and allow 1 run, and you can sort of see like, well, he got a good call here, and that line drive was right at the shorts. I mean, that kind of thing.
He had a no hitter going into the 7th inning, and then Wander Franco got a single to left center, and that was it.
Yeah, that was just today, right?
That was today.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the highlights.
So yeah, I'm kind of shocked. He really wants to stay in Chicago. I think Chicago trades him at the trade deadline, to be honest with you.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think
He
so.
can, well, if he keeps pitching like this, he's going to bring a lot of money. There's not a whole lot of pitchers that are probably going to be out there.
Yeah.
They're going to be like putting up numbers like this.
He's not going to get a ton of money. I mean,
It's not that. He's signed for next season. But what the Cubs could get for him in return, he'd be actually a pretty good trade chip.
but I think that what the Cubs need almost more than anything is like they need, more starting pitchers, right? I mean, so they should at least consider keeping them, like because I don't think they're not far away from contending in that division. I mean, they can contend that division probably this year.
They were 22-30. They're in last place. They've lost like up until like 2 games ago. They lost like 6 in a row.
Yeah, but I mean that division is so winnable, right? I mean, I still think the Cardinals could win it, and they're even worse than the Cubs, right?
No, the Cubs are the worst in that division right now.
Oh, see.
They dropped. If they look at it right now, I mean, this doesn't add what happened today, but I mean, as far as the league goes, they're sitting 5.5 games out. They're basically it goes Milwaukee 28-25, Pittsburgh 26-26, Cincinnati 24-29, St. Louis 24-31, and the Cubs 22-30.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not out of it by any means.
I would think that they would consider keeping him because you need a starting pitcher. I mean, unless they
but I mean, if the thing is, you're going to find out here in about 2 more months what's real and what's not. So
Yeah,
I mean, we'll know if the Cubs are going to be contending to maybe get a playoff spot, and if they're not, and they don't plan on having Stroman around. So here's the other thing: the rub on Stroman is that he's not a very good guy in the locker room.
he's a little strange, I guess. Yeah, but I think if a team's winning, it's all going to be good.
Word out there is he's just basically about himself, and if teams get tired, I mean, he's been on the move quite a bit. He's supposed to be a great pitcher, but he's been moved twice.
Yeah, that's why I think that if they offered him a deal, I think he would take it.
Well, no, he wants to stay in Chicago, but
they might not
if
want
the Cubs don't see him as a fit in the locker room, and he's doing really well and got 1 year left on his contract, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe if you want to oversimplify this year, maybe it's going to depend on James and Taillon because if he could come in and have a 3.8 ERA, a 4 ERA, and start well, he's already been out, right? But he's been doing terrible, right? His ERA.
Oh, he's absolutely awful. I'll talk to you his numbers here. He's got a minus 0.9 WAR so far this season.
Yeah,
he has not got a win. He's got 3 losses. He's got an ERA of 8.04.
Yeah, so he's got to cut. All he has to do is cut his ERA in half, and he'll be fine.
Well, the thing is, his WHIP is 1.691.
Yeah, I picked him up. Somebody dropped him because they were like, "Fuck it, this guy sucks." And I was like, "Jameson Tynes out there? I drop whatever crappy pitcher I have, and I'll pick him up." I dropped him too. It was like maybe 3 starts, and I was like, "Shit."
If you want to run like a skeleton crew on pitching and just kind of wait it out, I mean, that'd be the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting out there.
No, it's a shame for them because if he came in and pitched a year like he can, I don't know. The staff wouldn't even be looking that bad, right? Taillon, Stroman, Steele. Who else they have? I know was Nesky is in the minors now.
Yeah, Wisniewski got sent down. The Cubs for the next 4 years are going to be paying the schlub. They're paying him $14 million this year, and then $18 million for the next 3 years each.
For Tyone?
Yeah.
Wow, I
Ooh.
didn't realize he got that much.
Well, he had a pretty good year last year. For the Yankees, he went 14 and what, 5?
No, I didn't realize he got that much.
Yeah, and he had so you give $18 million to a guy who had an ERA of almost 4.
Yeah, that's a little
I mean,
much.
yeah, he was 14 and 5, but I mean his ERA was, well, looking at here, his ERA was 3.91.
Yeah. He's a
You
good
know,
pitcher, but yeah, that's a little high. Jeez.
well, let's see what his WHIP was.
He was a good pitcher, I should say. Might
His
be
WHIP
past
was
tense.
1.128. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Maybe he's just not meant for the National League because
I remember he came up with the Pirates, and he was like one of their top two, let's say,
Yeah,
starting.
him and Garrett Cole were the
Yeah,
two big
yeah.
prospects.
and I know he had an injury, and he kind of set him back, but then he did come up and he pitched well. But not not for the Cubs, unfortunately. So
Well, it's just a start. Sometimes when guys get on new teams, they're trying too hard. And sometimes when you try too hard, it takes you out of what you really are used to doing.
but
So,
that would be a big key to them because they could. I mean, what do you have to do to be a contender in this division? Like be a 500 team, right? Yeah. So at least so far.
Well, and that brings up the thing too, is even, if you're a 500 team that can sneak into the playoffs, because your division sucks, but you're going to not get past that first round of the playoffs or even the wild card or whatever. Do you sell that one guy that you have that could, be an organization
I think if
changing
you're going to make the
trade?
playoffs, you got to stick. You got to stick with it because then you could win. I mean, the Pirates can beat the Yankees. Bad example, but I mean, the Pirates can beat the Dodgers in a playoff series. I mean, I think
Yeah,
when you,
I
you have
mean,
to
it's
just get there and take your. I understand the team's not wanting to do what Steve Cohen did, spend so much money for what? I mean, just spend enough that you're gonna, you know, make the playoffs. Be one of the 3 wild card teams, and then you get there and look at just last year, right? San Diego, um, the Phillies, right? Phillies were the bottom wild card, I think, and so not that they had a low payroll, but you know what I mean. Like you just have to get in. Anything can happen.
right.
You know?
Hey, the hottest team at the end of the year usually has the best luck.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers were probably the best team in baseball last year, or the Astros, I guess. Um, Wins wise, and the Dodgers win like 111 or something. You know,
uh,
they got bounced too,
yeah.
just like the Cardinals or something. So
Hey, it's streaky. If you go into his, just like bad losing streak in the middle of the playoffs, I mean that's it's the death of you. You can lose 3 games in a row in the season and get out of it, blah blah blah. But if you do that in the first, second round of the playoffs, you're done. Some people can't do the pressure. Plus, I mean, it's the home and away advantage. Did you get the home field advantage? You got 2 games to start off with at home instead of 1 or none. I mean, instead of having a 3 in the middle.
it's pretty slight advantage in baseball compared to the other sports. It's like
Yeah,
I think this is old information. It's like probably 15 years ago, but I remember it was like about a 6% advantage for the home team. So if on a neutral site they were both at 100, on the home team's thing it would be like 106 to 94. It's an advantage, but it's not like some sports like there's a basketball game going on right now, right? Boston, the
oh yeah, that
Heat,
last game or whatever was crazy.
the Heat
I
were up.
don't watch basketball, but I saw
Yeah,
I
the Heat
saw
were
the
up 3-0, and now it's tied 3-3. It's like memories of the 2004 Red Sox, So I hate
right.
the Celtics. I hate them. I hope that they lose. Whoever wins is going to lose to the Nuggets anyway, so it's fine. I just don't want to see the Celtics in there.
Yeah.
No, something else, Norm? Put you on the spot.
Eh, what do you guys think of the base stealing this year?
I just looked at the cumulative numbers for the year. They were at like 83.5%, like the 3rd week of the season, and they're at like 79.5% now. So it's come down, but actually, it came down to about that about 2 weeks ago. So it's been staying
There's
there.
I forget his name, but the kid on Oakland that they got in the Sean Murphy trade.
Diaz, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He's got
That
like
yeah, that center fielder.
27 steals and he's got a 90% success rate on the season.
97%.
And the thing is like in his first 20 some games, he had 5 steals. And so he's done almost all of that stealing in like the last 30 games.
You know, those rotisserie leagues, like I know
That same guy has got the most hit by pitches. He's got 11.
Wow.
yeah, don't
Oh,
hit him.
you hit him, he's
Don't
going to
hit him.
take 2 on you.
And he, yeah.
But I know
But
Satch and Kimmler, I don't know, and I know those guys are in rotisserie leagues. So a guy like that is just we can't even relate. It's good for us. You like those 27 extra points, but that makes him like the equivalent of like, you know, these top hitters. You know,
yeah,
I know last year like Birdie had 41 stolen bases, and Birdie's like a backup infielder. Really, he's not even really a starting caliber player, but he would be in the top. I don't know, you know, top 15 or I don't know what, you know, when these depends on the categories you have, but
yeah,
stolen bases is a category by itself. And
yeah. That's why I hate, like you get all these, you know, draft prep sites and it's like based on Roto and it's like, well, that doesn't mean,
yeah,
yeah.
it is it's a disadvantage that we play in a league that has a different salary cap, and
Mhm.
then we don't do roto, so we can't relate to those. Like you get those magazines that have like closers that are worth $41 or something like that. Jesus Christ, we're never going to do that. You know, I mean, and even this year when the price we pay for closers was a little higher than it's been. Bless you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You know, higher than I was. You know, it surprised us a little bit. It still is not, you know, not nearly what they go for in
Yeah.
rotisserie.
Well,
Yeah,
here, let me throw some numbers out to you here real quick. Your top war getter for position player is Wander Franco at 3.5. Batting average at 376 is Luis Arias. He's also got the on base percentage at 433. Your top slugging percentage is Aaron Judge at 633. Here's a surprise here. On base plus slugging, Yandy Diaz,
Wow,
1.041.
wow.
wow.
Games played, Anthony Volpe with 55. Let's see here. Plate appearances. I'm just going to brush over that. Runs scored is Acuna, 48. Hits is Bo Bichette at 78. Total bases, Bo Bichette, 124. Freddie Freeman has the most doubles, and this is pretty crazy. He's got 22 doubles already.
Wow.
Who does?
That's a lot. I mean, think about it. It's
How
like
many homers?
it's going to be like 66 for the
How
year
many homers does he
almost.
have?
Who has
That
the
I don't
most
know. I'm
doubles?
just looking right now at the top of each one.
Who has
Pete Alonso, most home runs with 20. Runs batted in, Adolis Garcia at 49. What were you saying,
Oh, who had the most doubles? I didn't hear.
Lou?
Who? Who had the most doubles?
Freddie Freeman.
That was Freddie Freeman.
Oh,
Freddie Freeman,
yeah. That you probably
22.
that's a usual suspect in that category, right?
Guys there, home runs, runs batted in, and one.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That's 3 of my guys right there in a row. Teoscar Hernandez has the most strikeouts this year. Guess how many times he's struck out so far this season?
47.
Lou, what do you say?
It's 1/3 of the way through the season. I'd say he
Yep.
has 70 strikeouts.
He's got 75.
Wow.
Yeah. Stolen bases is your guy, Ruiz from Oakland, 27 of those. And yeah, I think that's about the most important things I wanted to bring up. Oh, hit by pitches, Ruiz again, 11. Intentional bases on balls is Jose Ramirez with 9 of those this year so far. And at bats per strikeout, that would be Luis Arias again. He gets 18.1 at bats per every strikeout.
Wow.
That's good. At bats per home run is Max Muncy right now. He's got 9.9. So he's kind of on that Luke Voigt pace from a couple years ago.
Yeah. Babe Ruth.
Earned run average is Sonny Gray, 1.82. Wins is McClanahan at 8. And walks and hits per innings pitched. That's Tyler Wells of Baltimore at .842 on his whip.
Wow.
That's good. Hits per 9 innings. That's Shohei Ohtani's only given up just under 5 hits a game. Bases on balls per 9 innings. That's George Kirby from Seattle. That's .857. So that's like less than a walk a game if he's lucky. Strikeouts per 9 innings is 14.984 by Spencer Strider.
Who was the walk guy?
That was George Kirby.
George Kirby.
Now saves, the most saves so far this season, and this guy's going to get a lot of them this year too. Emmanuel Clase, or did they say Clase or Clase?
I think it's Class A.
Got me.
I think so
It's
too.
more Class A to say Class A.
Innings pitched is Garrett Cole with 73.7. Strikeouts this year, of course, Spencer Strider with 106 so far. So he's on line to get 300 strikeouts for the year.
Yeah, we
Complete
are
games.
after today's games. We're like almost exactly 1/3 of the way through. So easy
Yep.
math, right? Just multiply everything by 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Nathan Eovaldi, he's got 2 complete games. That's the most of anybody in the league. All right. Jordan Lyles has given up the most home runs for a pitcher. How many do you think he gave up?
I'll say
This is 2 months through the league. 2 months in.
I'll say he's given up 13.
I'll go 18.
He's split the difference. 16.
16.
Brad Keller for KC has the most bases on balls given up. He's given up 40. The most hits given up has been Patrick Corbin with 75.
And he's actually pitching better this year than he's been in a few years. I looked at this. I was looking at Roto stuff just to experiment with different categories. But anyways, last year, he was the least valuable pitcher. He was the most negative value pitcher, Corbin, because he threw a lot. Have to throw a lot of innings and have a really bad ERA. So that was him.
Dude, that dude is batting practice right now. Strikeouts to base on ball ratio. George Kirby again, 8.5. And then home runs per 9 innings. Sonny Gray. What do you think? How many home runs do you think Sonny Gray's given up?
Well, he didn't give up one today. That was the middle reliever that I also have on my team. Gave up the grand slam to Jose Altuve. I'd say Gray's given up, I don't know, 3 homers.
Norm?
That was what I was going to say, so I'll go with 2.
Well, you're both wrong. It's 0. He hasn't given up a home run all season.
Wow.
Losses goes to Jordan Lyles. He's got 9 of them, and he's also got the most earned runs given up with 50.
That's how you get those losses.
They go hand
That's
in
how you
hand.
get those losses. Wild pitches. That is Shohei Ohtani with 9.
It's probably his slider thing.
Oh yeah, but he's also got the most batters hit. He's got 8 of those. So I think, do they call it a wild pitch if you hit a batter?
No.
Okay, so yeah, his shit moved. All right. Let's see here. See if there's anything else relevant. No, that's about it. That's about it. Wins above replacement on pitching. WAR for pitchers, of course, is Sonny Gray at 2.6. And why? Because he's got a great earned run average. He wins games, and he doesn't give up home runs.
So far. But I'm overjoyed. Overjoyed with
And he's always been pretty good until he got to New York, and then he sucked ass.
Well, you got to think, man, that New York press is unforgiving.
Yeah.
As soon as you have a bad game or something, you're reading about yourself being the biggest dick in the world. That's got to be a little rough. Not everybody can play in New York. If you're New York's darling, you'll love it to the day you die. But if you're not, if you have some rough games, man, they will be all over your ass. And that's for both the Mets and the Yankees, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, probably every other sport too.
Okay. You guys seeing the standings now?
Look at that home
Yeah.
record by Tampa. Woo!
The Orioles, I thought maybe they thought, well, I didn't think they'd be this good.
Oh, Cedric Mullins went
I
up today.
did. He what?
Cedric Mullins left with the hip injury, or it looked like his quad, but I think they called it a groin or adductor or something. But sounds like he's going on the DL.
He sprained his taint.
Yeah, so look at all these teams are above 500 in the East. And then
That's crazy.
and then only one team is above 500 in the Central.
Yeah, the Twins would be tied for last in the East.
If they do
Yeah.
realign the divisions in baseball, I think it's a great idea to keep the East, West, East, Central, and West, because the National League Central is the same way, right? And these teams don't have big payrolls, and they're in the same division. It's just works out better that way, if you're not going to have revenue sharing like they do, as much as they do in the NFL, then at least this is a way to combat that a little bit. I mean, the A's don't get much benefit because they're not in the Central. But
Well, breaking news just came through. The Miami Heat beat the Celtics.
oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, so they got back to 3-3.
Well, even look at
Oh.
the AL West, and most of those teams are over 500 too, except for Oakland.
Ooh, the A's
Yeah.
won.
Hey, look at that.
They
Their
beat,
run to
Soroka.
give it the runs against, the runs scored differential was 199,
Yeah.
Jeez.
Look
which
at
means
these
they have
odds to win.
absolutely no pitching.
Look
So
at these
stay the
odds to
hell
win the
away from their pitching.
championship. Norm, you should lay down $100. You'll be a rich man if Oakland wins the World Series this year. Who bets
They
that
don't
kind
have
of
Scott
stuff?
Hatteberg.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the National League. Oh, I forgot to look at the Sox.
That's not.
No good. But they're so lucky, right? They're six
They're
and a
getting
half.
better.
6.5
They're getting better.
games is nothing, but they're not really giving you the indication that they're going to.
They pretty much got the same record that the Cubs have. They got a couple more losses than the Cubs.
It seemed like they were putting together a really good team too.
Oh, dude, I thought so too, and I thought La Russa being gone would be addition by subtraction, and having a new manager in there and something like that. But
yeah, it's making La Russa look a little bit better, right? You can't blame it
there
all
is, isn't it?
him,
We didn't
And
want that to happen.
Unless you're going to say that he poisoned the well, and they're still
Who would
trying
have thought that Pittsburgh would be 2 games out of first place
Yeah,
at this
but
point in the year?
they're on their way down. I mean, just that was not sustainable.
And they're doing all that without O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, no.
Without a what?
Without O'Neal Cruz, he got hurt like a month ago.
That's a shame.
So shocking. The Cincinnati Reds were supposed to be terrible this year.
They have so many young players coming up. It's
Yeah.
not even just this Matt McClain, but it's that other guy, the Ellie De La Cruz, and
he's not far off. I mean, that's one of Larkin's guys he's waiting on. So that made it easier for him to trade like Gunnar Henderson and some of those other guys.
So, and you can see Steve Cohen's $380 million he's bought a 500 team, isn't that? That's a good it's a good investment.
That's because he didn't get Correa.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, and they'd be with him, they'd be 28 and 26 maybe, right? I don't know. Oh my God. Really bad.
The Cubs actually are they leapfrogged St. Louis right there real quick because they have so many less wins. It's almost like they played an extra one less series.
Oh yeah, they're 3 games less than the Cardinals.
So they don't have as many wins, but they got 2 less losses. So by percentage, they're a little bit higher.
0.005.
But this is the important number, is the 5 games out. I mean, they're all you have to do in this division is be a 500 team, and you're a contender. And that's nice. It wouldn't work in the other divisions.
$10 on the Cubs to win the World Series this year get you $100,000.
Nice.
Oh, the
Norm,
smart bet there looks like Cincinnati.
put up $100.
Yeah, that's 500,000, but I don't. There's no way.
Norm,
But that Graham Ashcraft really took a drop, didn't he?
go on one of your betting apps and lay 100 on the Cubs. You'd be a rich man. Suckers.
I actually, I knew somebody that like they were at a bachelor party in Vegas or something like years and years ago, and he won a bunch of money at something and bet like $100 on the Cubs to make the playoffs, and they hadn't made the playoffs in decades, and that was the year they made the playoffs, and he ended up getting like something like 250 grand.
That's a nice payout.
Yeah.
That's kind of life altering.
But yeah, it was one of those things like he did it when he was wasted, and everybody was like, "What? You're wasting your money, you idiot!" And then he ended up winning.
So I
Who's
usually
that
ask this.
idiot?
I usually
Who's
ask this
that?
question. How you got in the league, but I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You knew like Doug, Chad, and that's how you got in
Yeah,
'97. Had they asked you before then to get in, and you hadn't gotten
they
in?
had, but it was only the draft back then. So when
So if we had stayed with the
the
draft,
auction,
there'd be no Norm Lund.
potentially,
There'd be no Holy
I mean,
Cow.
I think I might have gotten in at some point, but I just hadn't been. I hadn't really been paying attention to, other than like, the playoffs and stuff for quite a while, and then that was like, right after right around the time we started playing baseball, like, pick up games at the park and stuff. So I started paying a little more attention. They were always talking about it, blah blah blah. So, but the whole
You know what?
auction,
I prefer the auction over any draft. It's so much more fun.
Oh,
yeah,
it's much more. In the draft, I'm so glad that we're not just sitting around and going like, blah blah blah, Joe Schmo, and then everybody goes like, oh, I was just gonna pick him, crossing the, and we're going, it's like
Right.
yeah,
No,
it's so
you
much
throw the
better.
guy
Like,
out there and everybody's fighting for him,
yeah,
yeah.
it's much better.
I like the draft for football because that would be too much to pay attention to.
I guess
Like
because
football, I just like football, like root
yeah, I
for
mean,
my team, and
yeah, I care less about the football league. I enjoy it, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not the same. Like you have to put in way more work for baseball because you got to check the lineup every day, and
yeah,
football it's once a week.
and it's just so lucky with football,
Yeah,
and so much of it is not really skill based. We talked about that last week or the week, with Paul, like that it was. You know, you're not really looking at like some analytics on some running back. I mean, like I said, I'm sure there's guys that are totally into it and they dive into the numbers like you wouldn't believe, and I'm sure they discover some stuff that I don't know. But really, it's all about having the job, right? Being the number one running back. It's like I compared it to like it's a whole roster of like closers. Like if fantasy baseball was just about like drafting closers or something, that would be similar to fantasy football. I think because there's skill involved. Guy's got to be good, but the most important thing is he has a job. You're the number one running back on the Atlanta Falcons. Well, there's a lot of value in that. You're not going like, yeah, but how, is he really a good running back? I don't know. Like, I mean, he has to be good enough to keep the job, and that's just like the closer, right? He's just got to be good enough to keep the closer job. You know,
Yeah.
But I'm not dismissing football. I've played fantasy football almost as long as fantasy baseball, and I do enjoy it. But it's like
yeah,
just the head-to-head format. There's so much luck involved in that, right? I mean, you're playing against one guy. He has a bad week, and how many times you
yeah.
see it? Like you had like the 10th most points in the league, and you
Or
win.
your quarterback's got the bye week that week.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, you never really, yeah, exactly that, but you never really know what the team is actually going to do as a team until they actually get into it. There's teams that they expected to be great and just fucking sucked all year.
yeah.
And the ones you think, oh shit, they're going to lose that game, they're going to win that game. That's you can never tell that ahead of time. You can make an educated guess, but I mean,
Yeah, I
you
do
can
that. I
never
do
tell
that.
what's going to go on in the season ahead of time, and who knows, your guy might be hurt. Who's hurt during those games
I
too?
do that in the
Yeah.
beginning of the year with Jets. Like I try to predict what their record's going to be, and you get like the middle of the season and you have a completely different idea about these opponents. Like one that you thought was going to be maybe like the Packers last year. Like okay, well they're going to play Green Bay, and Green Bay that's a loss, and they win. So it's
Yeah.
like you get midway through the year and like your idea of these teams, for good or bad. I mean, they could be better than you thought.
Well, Jets might be really good this year.
Well, Jesus Christ, the Jets should be good this year.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're going to regret taking Rodgers on. To be honest with you.
Well, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'm more on board with it now because I realize like
Oh God, they had to do something.
you have a short window in football anyway. You never know what's going to happen, and they were really held back last year by bad quarterback play. They didn't even need like Rodgers last year. They just needed somebody that was competent. And the only guy that was competent was Mike White, who's not on the Jets anymore. But
Yeah,
he
who
was
did he
always,
go to?
I don't know. I don't know where he went.
You go to Tampa Bay, maybe?
Yeah.
He might be if that's the case, he might be the starting quarterback in about 4 weeks into the season.
So yeah, I'm on board with the Rodgers thing. I didn't like it for most of the time, but now I'm really thinking about it. It's like, why the hell not? If you're the Jets, especially, why the hell not roll the dice? I mean, they haven't been to a Super Bowl since before I started following football.
Well, they tried it with Brett Favre. That didn't work either.
Yeah, but Favre was never the quarterback that Rodgers is, though. Or was, I should say was, because you don't know. But Favre had always had a lot of turnovers, and he was more a good.
He was a what they call that gunslinger.
Yeah, he's like a winning guy, winning quarterback guy, but um, he was never, like Rodgers, like statistically at least. I mean, not even close. You know, but I mean, if you're the Jets, why not go
Well,
for
I
it?
can go look it up real quick.
Another guy with a great reputation was Namath, and Namath had pretty bad interception numbers too. Of course, he was throwing 40 yards down the field, a lot of passes. That'll increase your interception rate, but
Yeah, I mean, you can't really compare like
old
late
time,
60s, early
yeah,
70s to now also.
But his legend is
Okay.
definitely better than his stats. That's for sure. And I think the same thing with Favre. It doesn't mean he wasn't a great quarterback for the Packers. I'm just saying, like, he's just not. Bringing in Favre is different from bringing in Rodgers. I think. If
I'm gonna bring
Rodgers
this. I'm gonna bring the two stats up side by side here.
if Rodgers can guide the offense without turning the ball over, that's going to be huge for them. So. So I'm on board because why not? I haven't. The Jets haven't been in the Super Bowl since 1969. I was 4. The first Super Bowl I remember was 1972, Cowboys and Dolphins. So I mean, I missed that one by 3 years, and they haven't been
Was that
since.
the perfect season?
No, that was the next year, I think. Super Bowl
Okay.
72, the fall of 72. That was the year that they were perfect. But the January 72 when they faced the Cowboys,
Okay, here's a rundown here. Brett Favre appeared in
they lost
302
24
games.
nothing.
Favre appeared in 302 games. Aaron Rodgers appeared in 230. Brett Favre's career record is 186 and 112. Rodgers is 147 and 75. Completion percentage, you got Favre at 62%, Rodgers at 65.3. Yardage, 71,838 for Favre, 59,055 for Rodgers. Yards per attempt, 7.1 for Favre, 7.7 for Rodgers. Touchdowns, 508 for Favre, 475 for Rodgers.
Here's the big
And
one.
the interceptions, 336 for Favre, 105 for Rodgers. Yeah, that's the biggest difference right there.
Yeah.
As far as fantasy points go, the way they look at it here is Favre has 4,371 throughout his career, where Aaron Rodgers had 4,569.
Yeah. So they're close in that regard. But I think, when you dive into it, yards, I would look at yards per attempt and the interception rate.
Well, and also think that, the first, 3 years of Rodgers' career, he was sitting behind Favre, so he didn't put up any stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was behind Favre for a long time, and that's one of the reasons why Favre had to go.
Yeah.
So you
Which,
guys just keep taking the used coffee grinds off of fucking Green Bay and make more coffee with it.
Who do you follow?
They put
Norm?
themselves in the
You follow the Bears?
a little bit.
You're from Pennsylvania. You're not.
He likes the
Steeler fan.
Steelers.
Steelers. That's right. Okay, Steelers. Yeah, that's better than the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what the Steelers do. I like that they've had what 4 coaches since I was a little boy, right? I mean,
3. Like they've had 3 coaches in my lifetime.
Like Chuck Knox,
Chuck Noll,
Chuck
Cowher,
Cowher,
and Tomlin.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, like, 'cause the guy you're getting rid of, you're going to get rid of him for a guy that you might not do as well. I mean, it's just not worth it unless the guy's a total loss. But I like the Steelers coach too.
Yeah, he's like, the most cliche soundbite guy of all time.
Last year they didn't finish 500, right?
They were 9-8.
Well, they were. So has he ever finished under 500?
Nope.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
Like 15 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's called the Trubisky effect.
Actually, it wasn't for
Well,
Trubisky,
boys,
they would have made the playoffs.
we are at the 2-hour mark.
Oh, jeez.
It goes by quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm going to run.
All
Norm,
Right. Good seeing you guys.
great to see you, buddy.
All right.
It's been too long. Give me a call sometime.
All right.
I do better with if you're calling. It's better. Sometimes I don't see my text, or I'll get caught up and forget to reply. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
You have no plans to go to Chicago until the auction, right?
I doubt it.
Yeah, there's a chance I'll be out in the summer, but I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. We haven't planned anything. It's almost June.
It's been dry around here last week and a half or so. I mean, and it's not supposed to rain for another week or two. It's starting to look like straw around here.
Like Arizona.
Trying to get the Arizona effect going on in the middle of the Midwest.
All right, boys.
Yep.
Well, good luck this week, Norm. Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, glad to get you on.
Thanks for having me on.
Hopefully you'll be on with us in another, is that 3 months? Maybe Labor Day weekend if you're around.
Yeah, shoot for that.
Or Labor Day. I guess it would be actually Labor Day because that's the Monday. So. All right. Well,
nice.
you'll be our known as our holiday guest. So
yeah,
it's a holiday. Norm will be on, except for not July 4th. I know you can't do that.
We'll have to be around Labor Day.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe Satch will be in last. Knockers 10th. Right?
Yeah, I'll be fighting it out with Norm for first place.
Bake McBride's.
In the bizarro world.
Yep.
All right.
All right, boys.
See you.
Yep. See you guys.
Take it easy.
I think I'm stopping it.